right. Well, welcome again. Good morning to all of you based here in Asia Pacific. Good evening to those of you who are dialing in from North America. I believe we have one startup dialing in from the US, one dialing in from Canada. So you're all staying up late. Appreciate that. My name is Frederick Nyberg. I'm the Managing Director for MedTech Innovator Asia Pacific, based here in Singapore. With me, from the MedTech Innovator team, I have Glenn Lim, I have Bernice Tan, all three of us based here in Singapore. I have Sylvia and Ari joining us from our US office as well. So if you have any reaching out here, I'm communicating now to our judges primarily, but also to any of the startups. If you have any questions, any challenges for the judges logging into your online judging platform, reach out to any of us at the from the MedTech Innovator team. So warm welcome again. This is our second online pitch event for this year. The theme today is next-gen surgical solutions, robotics, orthopedics, rehab, as well as ENT, dentistry, and ophthalmology. So a broad range of technologies, and we have some really exciting companies that you will all hear more about in just a bit. What I did want to do is just provide all of you a brief introduction to MedTech Innovators. Some of you, of course, are very familiar with who we are and what we do. For those of you who are not, I'll just take a few minutes and do that initially. Then what we will do is we'll ask each of our 10 companies to, during a lightning round, give us a 1-minute presentation of what it is that they do, and that gives our live our audience watching us live on the live stream and YouTube and LinkedIn an opportunity to see who each of these companies, what these companies do, and what the technologies are that they're working on. We'll then close for our formal pitch event session, and I'll tell you more about that in just a second. So let me share my screen, and just a quick reminder, maybe before I do so, housekeeping point, both to our judges as well as to the startups. If you could kindly rename yourself, right-click on your name on the screen, click on rename, and key in your full first name, surname, dash name of organization. Why is this important? Because we have Ari and Bernice in charge of flight control. We will have no less than 6 breakout rooms, and we need to make sure that you get assigned to the right breakout room. You don't have to do anything to get into these breakout rooms. They will assign you to the room so you can sit back and relax, but they will only know who you are and what organization you represent if you indicate that in your name. So thank you all for doing that ahead of time. Excellent. So let me now share my screen and tell you a little bit more about who we are and what it is that we do. So as I mentioned, this is our second online pitch event for 2024. There is a third online pitch event scheduled for the 24th of April. You may want to bookmark that and put that in your schedule if you're keen to watch that live stream. And on the 16th and 17th of April, in just 2 weeks, we will host our in-person event in Singapore, and I'll come to that in just a moment. So as I mentioned, please rename yourselves if you have not already done so. Right, so MedTech Innovator, most of you are familiar with who we are and what it is that we do. We are the world's largest competition and accelerator for medical devices, digital health, and diagnostics, in vitro diagnostics. We are a non-profit organization. We're entirely industry-led. So we have a number of corporate partners, and you'll meet several of them during the session this morning. The photograph that you see here is from the grand finals. I believe this was in 2022 at the APAC MedTech Forum here in Singapore. And that's typically when we get our accelerator cohort coming together, and when we give away awards and non-dilutive cash prizes. So we've been doing this now for 11 years. As I mentioned, we are the world's largest accelerator, measured in terms of the number of alumni companies that have gone through the program. We have well over 600 alumni companies. 95% of those are still active or have been acquired. Those companies have gone on to raise 7.6 billion in follow-on equity. And there have been 45, possibly even 46 as of a couple of weeks ago, outright acquisitions. We have a global pool of well over 500 reviewers, judges, and mentors. We have now a database of close to 10,000 applicants. We brought the program to Asia Pacific in partnership with APAC Med in 2019. And as I mentioned earlier, it is a 4-month accelerator program where we'll be giving away up to 300,000 in awards. So where are we now in the 2024 cycle? So we've had over 400 applications submitted. We are now in the midst of our what we call our road tour, where we're inviting somewhere between 50 to 60 companies to pitch, including the 10 that you will be seeing today. And that will take place. We had one event in March. The rest of them will take place during April. And then as we get to May, we will select the 20 companies that will go on to the accelerator. There'll be 4 to 5 finalists that compete for the grand prize in September. And one company will walk away with a cash check of $175,000. And that's completely non-dilutive. We don't take any equity in any of these companies, and we do not charge a participation fee. So these are the dates, same timeline essentially, but vertically instead of horizontally. So you can see the dates here for our online events. 3rd of April, of course, is today. Our in-person event is taking place in Singapore on the 16th and 17th. And I turn to our judges here and those of you watching us live on YouTube and LinkedIn. Do take a look at our social media for details of how to sign up and register for that. It is a 2-day event. It is not just going to be pitches. There will be a number of other programming activities with panels and speakers and other activities as well. So that's something, if you're in Singapore, you do not want to miss. May, as I mentioned, is when we'll select the 20 companies for the accelerator. And just to be clear, we do not select a winner after each pitch event. So at the end of today's session, we're not going to say this is the company that won today. We will make those selections in May. What could happen is that we select 3 companies from one pitch event and 1 company from another. Depends entirely on the caliber and the quality of those companies. So right up until May, when we make the final selection and announcement, you are still very much in the running. So we typically kick off our accelerator with the MedTech Innovator Summit. We started doing this for the Asia Pacific cohort as of last year. So the 20 companies that get selected to the accelerator will all be invited to join the Innovator Summit in San Francisco, followed by the Wilson Sonsini Medical Device Conference on the 12th to 14th of June. The accelerator will then run June through to September, probably even until the beginning of October. The showcase and the grand finals will take place in Singapore at the Asia Pacific MedTech Forum on the 5th and 6th of September. And I believe we have Gabriel here, and I'll invite him later to talk a little bit more about APAC Med and what their plans are for the forum. This is a photo from the MedTech Innovator Summit in 2023. So if you do get selected, you will be joining us for that. We have typically about 1,100 participants over 3 days. Great way to meet not just your peers in the Asia Pacific cohort, but we're bringing together the accelerator cohorts from the US, from our US MedTech Innovator program, as well as from our BioTools program. You'll meet our partners, you'll meet investors, and a number of people from our US ecosystem as well. I won't go through this in detail, but just suffice it to say that we do have a fairly rigorous set of evaluation criteria. We look at each company from the perspectives of value, execution, and momentum. Value is about your value proposition, about your business model, about your competitive advantage. Execution is where we look at maybe your regulatory pathway, your clinical evidence, your IP, your team strength. And momentum is about your how well you have been running your operations to achieve those objectives. It's about the development stage you're at, your operational readiness, commercial traction, and so on. So these are some of the criteria that our judges will be thinking about today as they listen to each of your pitches. Final few photographs. I believe these are from our grand finals in 2023 that took place in December. And we do have a partnership, long-standing partnership with APAC Med, which is the Asia Pacific Medical Technology Association. And you will hear more about what they do during one of our break sessions. Now, we couldn't do anything any of these things really without the support of our partners. So a special thank you to Johnson & Johnson MedTech, to our new partner for 2024, WL Gore. I should say that Gore has been a partner for our US program for a number of years. So they're not at all new to MedTech Innovator, but they are new to Asia Pacific. So welcome to the WL Gore team. And good to have Teleflex back as well. We have B. Braun, we have Siemens Healthineers, Cambridge Consultants, Enterprise Singapore, and of course, APAC Med. And you will hear from senior executives from each of these organizations during the break. So big thank you to all of our partners. So what I wanted to do before we get into the lightning round, and where you'll hear from each of the 10 companies, is introduce you to our judging panel today. So we're thrilled to have, I believe we have 26 or 27 judges here today. Of course, all of our corporate partners are here, well represented, with people here from B. Braun, Cambridge Consultants, Johnson & Johnson, Siemens Healthineers, and from Teleflex, as well as WL Gore. But as you can see, and I won't go through all the names here, you have participants here from across the ecosystem, industry experts, investors, clinicians, as well as service providers. So big thank you to all of our judges for being part of this. We have judges dialing in from as far as East Coast of the US. So thank you for that. For the startups that are presenting today, you should all have a link to our bio book. Because you are not able to meet in person, we have the bio book, which is a tool that's available both to our judges as well as to our startups, where you have the short bios as well as the photos and the contact details of all of our judges. And our judges, you will find the contact details of all of our startups. So opportunity for all of our startups here to meet with these senior executives during the course of your presentations. The contact details, of course, are there for you to follow up after the event if you so wish. Right. So what we're going to do now is I will call on each of the 10 companies to present to one of their slides. I'll call on you in alphabetical order. So when I call on you, kindly just unmute yourselves. You have exactly 60 seconds to present, and after that, I will probably interrupt you if you go over time. But before we go into the individual companies, let me just introduce you to all 10. So these are the 10 companies that you will hear from today. We have companies here from across Asia Pacific, from Korea, China, India, Australia, Taiwan. We have a company from the UK. We have companies from the US and Canada as well. So really interesting geographical mix, some really exciting cutting edge technologies. As I mentioned, we'll go through each of these. We'll give them 1 minute to present, and we will do this in alphabetical order. So to begin with, I will call on Alpha Leos, where I believe we have Sandal Kotawala. So, Sandal, if you're the one presenting for Alpha Layers, you may begin anytime.
Sure. Thank you, Frederick. Morning, everyone. This is Sandal Kotawala from Alpha Layers Tech. We are a startup based at Hyderabad in India. What we have developed is a product called Intelligent Vision Analyzer. It's a virtual reality platform for conducting eye tests, various eye tests, and we have developed and validated it so far for visual field testing. So visual field testing is a test for glaucoma, where typically a big dome-shaped device is used, and here we have converted a big equipment into a virtual reality-based solution, which has made it 10x cost-effective and 100x compact. And so far, so I started this product about 7 years back as a college project. And we have done the clinical validations with Arvind Eye Hospital and Johns Hopkins. We have we have launched this product in market back in 2022. And so far, we have got about 150 eye doctors already using it. We have generated a cumulative revenue of about 250K USD. And yeah, we are looking to scale this product. With your support, we are looking to scale this product globally.
Very
We have
good.
also got a couple of interesting clinical publications and customers like Indian Army, Carl Zeiss, couple
Thank
of
you,
pharma
Sandal. I'll have to
companies.
interrupt you here. We'll try to stick to the 1 minute. Very exciting. We look forward to hearing more about this during one of the breakouts. Thank you so much. Next up, we have APRevent. Dr. Mark Chang will be presenting, I believe, from Taiwan.
Yeah. Hi,
Morning.
everyone. Yeah, I'm Mark from APRevent. So APRevent is a medical device company. We're dedicated to providing innovative solutions for voice and speech disorders. And our voice implant is the world's first and only patient-specific laryngeal long-term implant to treat the glottic insufficiency. And it helps patients to regain their speech and swallow in a normal manner. And it has received a CE mark in Europe and also licensed in Australia, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Taiwan. And now we are conducting a clinical study in the US for FDA approval. I look forward to sharing more in the pitch section. Thank you.
Great. Thanks very much for that, Mark. Very interesting. Next up, we have Beijing Hongyi Qihui Technology, and I believe we have Bin Song presenting.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Good morning.
Oh, morning. Hello, everybody. My name is Bin Song. I'm a plastic surgeon in China. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to represent our invention. Is a new type of surgical lighting system. It's from my horrible experience as a surgeon. One day, when I performed the surgery, I hear a lot of voice from the current lighting system, and it's costly. So I decided to make a new one to replace current lighting system. It's environmentally friendly and low cost and energy saving. So I believe it's groundbreaking innovation. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Dr. Bin Song, for that. Look forward to hearing more during the breakout. Next, we have Envisage MedTech, and I believe we have Piyush Giri speaking on behalf of Envisage. Do we have Piyush here?
Is it available?
Good morning. Yes, please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. I'm Piyush Giri, the founder of Envisage MedTech. Nowadays, major problem after surgery doesn't was found in the tissue. It causes pain to the patients and it is actually effective to the doctor.
Piyush, I'm going to have to interrupt you. Piyush, I'm going to have to interrupt you for a second. Your audio is quite poor. We can't quite hear what you're saying. Could I suggest we come back to if you can please fix your audio. We'll skip you for now, and then I'll come back to Envisage MedTech a little bit later on. Would that be all right?
Yes.
Thank you so much. We'll come back to that so we can all hear the Envisage MedTech presentation. So next up we have Guiders Surgical. I believe we have Sujit DK dialing in from California, US. Good evening.
Thank you, Frederick. Thank you all. Good morning. Sujit Dike, CEO of Gyro Surgical. We are both a US and Australia-based company. We have developed the world's first commercially available, non-invasive and imageless technology for accurately placing prosthesis during total hip replacement. The vast majority of surgeons globally do not use any technology when they are placing a cup into the hip socket during total hip replacement, often missing the target angles. They simply freehand and hammer it in. And this missing the target angles can lead to potential complications and costly revision surgeries. Existing technologies such as robotics and navigation are all expensive, complex to use, and time consuming. And they use a combination of metallic pins inserted into the patient's pelvis and some kind of imaging to function. Guider's non-invasive, no pins, no imaging approach eliminates those barriers. And we believe we are well poised to address the needs of vast majority of surgeons globally to perform every single surgery with the same level of accuracy and precision that every patient expects and frankly deserves. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that, Sujit. Look forward to hearing more about that. Piyush, how is your audio going?
Now is it fine?
Now it sounds a lot better. So let's go back to Envisage MedTech. Piyush, please go ahead.
So hello everyone, I am Piyush, founder of Envisage. Nowadays, the major problem is after surgery, adhesion was found in between tissues and internal organs. It causes pain to the patient, and secondary surgery becomes safety to the doctors as they have to remove the mismatch. So according to a report, over 280 million surgeries were performed in 2017. To prevent this adhesion, we have developed a novel product named Envisage, which acts as an anti-adhesive barrier between tissues and internal organs. It has some properties like anti-inflammatory properties, self-healing properties, optimum healing rate, biocompatible, and I think very much cost-effective. And we have completed our preclinical studies also. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Piyush. Your audio is still far from perfect, so I would encourage you to take a look at that and see what you can do to improve your audio before the pitch rounds, or it will be difficult for the judges to hear your presentation. Moving along, next up we have Hada MedTech dialing in from Toronto, Canada, and I believe presenting on behalf of Hada is Zaya McDonald. Zaya, good evening.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for having me. I'm Zaya. I'm the COO of Hada MedTech. We're a company located both in Canada and China. So intubation is the third most common medical procedure performed globally. However, it can be quite risky to perform on a life-threatening situation. Indeed, over 46% of patients have been through one major adverse event during the intubation in critical care. And outside of hospital, the first pass success rate is only 70%. So the delay of intubation can lead to the hypoxia, brain damage, cardiac arrest, and even death. This also increases the burden of the hospital care and the clinicians. So we're providing an integrated smart video laryngoscope platform to improve the intubation safety and prevent the potential complications. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much for that, Zaya. Look forward to hearing more during the breakouts. Next up from Australia, we have IMRA Surgical, and I believe we have Andrew Costello here.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for having me here. I'm Andrew Costello, the Chief Operating Officer at IMRA Surgical. IMRA have developed a range of educational platforms, but I'm pitching today about our Pindari surgical simulation models. So there's a real need at present for surgeons, particularly training with robotic surgeries, as more than 25 new soft tissue robots come to market, to be able to train away from the patient, away from cadavers and live animals, and also to get access in an agnostic way to appreciate the differences in these different platforms. So there's currently no single accreditation or body that advocates for surgical training. It's done in silos. So what we've put together is an ecosystem where our online courses are augmented and enhanced by our simulation using synthetic models. And we've developed some IP patented, really impressive hydrogel models and torsos to change the game. Thank you very much.
Great. Thanks very much for that, Andrew. Next up, we have Intermag dialing in from Seoul, Korea. And I think from representing Intermag is Dr. Gunhee Jung. Dr. Jung.
Hello,
Good morning.
everybody. Can you hear me?
We can. Please go ahead.
Hello, everybody. My name is Gunhee Jung, CEO of Intermag Incorporated, Seoul, Korea. Medical doctors perform endovascular intervention utilizing guide wire and catheters by their hands to treat occlusive vascular disease such as stroke in brain, myocardial infarction in heart, peripheral artery disease in leg. It has three major problems. First, inaccurate procedure. Second, long hours of operation, especially the blood vessel is totally blocked. Third, X-ray radiation hazard to medical personnel for their lifetime. We have developed iLaman system for robotic endovascular intervention. It remotely controls the motion and medical function of microrobot in human blood vessel accurately, effectively, and without radiation hazard to medical doctors. We want to revolutionize conventional incomplete endovascular intervention to help patients and doctors. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Dr. Jung. Very exciting stuff there. Looking forward to hearing more. Moving along, we have Thomas Wargolski, CEO from Pri-Fiber. I believe Thomas is hopefully dialing in from Australia today and not from the UK. Otherwise, it would be a ghastly hour. But Thomas.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. And indeed, I'm dialing in from our Sydney office. So we also have offices in London, obviously a headquarters, but in Sydney for our Asia Pacific office. I'd like to introduce Pri-Fiber today. Basically, it is a spin-off from Queen Mary University from London. And we developed and designed a technology that fuses macro endoscopy and endomicroscopy together, kind of a world's first in a way. And we looked into the clinical needs are particularly in the knee for orthopedic surgeons and cardiovascular endoscopy. So interested to hear about the robotic part. We have a team of the inventors from Singapore. We have VC money from a Dutch investment company. And we have cardiac and orthopedic surgeons on our board. The inventor is from Singapore, so there's a bit of touch there. We developed an ecosystem already regarding testing and validation, currently in animal studies phase, but we're going to be into human trials soon, and happy to talk about it in a proper 5-minute presentation. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you so much, Thomas, for that. So our final presenter today is from WAD, based out of Chennai, India. Believe we have Krishna Priya here. Good morning.
Good morning. Greetings, everyone. This is Krishna Priya from WAD, and I'm here to represent the first in-house product, that's Neon. Every time a patient walks into a hospital with a knee pain, he or she is being questioned about the functionality of their knees to understand the pain-causing deficit of movements. All of these today are reported via patient-reported outcomes and are completely prone to subjectivity. At Neon, we capture the functional knee metrics, have our statistical algorithms run on it, and represent a neogram to the doctors. This neogram acts as a very similar cardiogram, which represents the functionality of the heart. For severe cases, along with additional imaging inputs, we create a functional twin that acts as a co-pilot for both the doctors and patients in objectifying their diagnosis, creating an evidence or baseline evidence for investigation, setting up goals for recovery, continuously monitoring the patient at remote rehabilitations, and guiding them towards a healthy knee. This also, in long term, helps us create a preventive tool for knee diagnosis. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for that. So that concludes our 10 company 1-minute presentations. So thank you to all of you. Of course, our judges will now go into breakout rooms very shortly. Before we do that, of course, I will onboard the judges and give you a bit of background on how to use our online platform. Each of the breakout sessions is going to be 20 minutes. There'll be about 5 minutes of presentation from each company, and that will be followed by 15 minutes of Q&A. But at this point in time, we will part ways with our live audience on YouTube and LinkedIn. So thank you all of you who've been watching this for the last 30 minutes online. Do bear in mind, if you are based in Singapore or Southeast Asia, that we have an event coming up on the 16th and 17th of April, in-person event in Singapore. An entire afternoon and an evening will be open to the public. So do look at our social media for more information about that. Thanks very much. And